And it's been raining goals and goals and goals in this Euros 2024 tournament. Spain beating Croatia 3 goals to nil. That was a surprising result. And I'm here with the guys to analyze what exactly happened in that game. What happened in that game? And I am Godwin. I have with me here Nonso. Nonso, how are you?
I'm fine. I'm fine.
John, how are you?
I'm
John
fine.
is already smiling. Already smiling. That game was a surprise for me because I was thinking that this is Croatia. This is
Yeah,
Croatia. I was
surprising.
thinking that probably they will
Put up a fight.
put up a fight. But you see how the game went. First half the game have already ended. So how do you see this game in general?
For me, kudos to the Spanish side. They had a phenomenal starting lineup. You talk about the youngest midfielder in the Euros, talking about Lamine Yamal having an assist in this match, providing the much needed threat required down the flanks. You also look about another underrated midfielder in terms of Fabian Ruiz, providing an assist and getting on the score sheet. It's been a fantastic performance from the Spanish side. For me, I wasn't expecting a blowout of 3-0,
That's a surprise
obviously.
for me.
And I'm actually surprised at how Croatia could have allowed this happen in the first half. Okay, so maybe the question, but the main thing is that it's a good win for Spain, and they are going to progress onto other opponents in these Euros. Hopefully, they can go far in the competition. But
know-
for me, I'm just wowed by their performance.
They
in
are
this
one of the
match.
favorites to win this tournament. So, John, what happened to Croatia team? Because it looks like when the game started, they are going to put up a fight. Then suddenly they collapse.
Yeah.
You saw that.
Right.
Sorry, you saw that earlier. Sorry for cutting you short there. You saw that earlier today when I was telling you that a bit mix of experience and youth is going to help the Croatian side.
But Croatia is more experienced in
No,
this game.
this is where you have all experience and no pace.
Okay.
Now this is it. You have the likes of Maja in attack, who is 26 and 22 years old. He has the pace. He doesn't have the experience, and he plays for Wolfsburg in Bundesliga. Now you look at the Spanish side. Opposite is the case. You have a Rodri who plays for Man City. You have a Pedro who plays for Barcelona. You have a Fabian Ruiz. These are all players with the experience and also the youthful
So
experience.
if you look at the Croatian team, they have Modric there.
That's just
They have Kovacic.
Brozovic. That's just experience, no youth, no space, no pace.
I think their midfield
Their midfield was all experienced and old. They don't have that pace chasing after. Look at you. You had the likes of Modric chasing after Pedri. For crying out loud, he's just going to pace out. It's just the way it is with these guys. And I was saying it in the morning. I was like, oh, all confidence. We'll see the likes of Pasalic of Atlanta coming to the game. These players should be starting. The players in Atlanta should be starting. The players in the Premier League should be starting for Croatia. Not the players in Wolfsburg, middle table Bundesliga teams.
You have to understand too that the coach sees these guys when they train. We the fans, we could come out and say things like this.
You have a solid point there in terms of how they train. But then if you look at the way they set themselves up for this match, for me, I'm seeing it more as a 4-2-3-1 formation. But I think the one player in that midfield who shouldn't have been there is talking about Marcelo Brozovic. He should have been taken off, play with
Earlier.
play with Kovacic and Modric in that midfield. Now, if you look at the options up front, I'm only recognizing Kramaric as a clinical striker in that position. I would love to see two younger wingers playing down the flanks there.
Sorry to cut you off, John. Look at the time he brought in Perisic.
Yeah.
It was already late in the game. You're already losing 3 goals.
Perisic is still old.
But
he doesn't have that pace.
This is a 34-year-old man that has pace. That has space to burn more than a 22-year-old boy.
Are you sure?
Definitely. You saw it happen in the ball. You saw he came on. Look at he went.
I would have loved to see him play on the 11th flank
on the left.
Provide something
on
for
the left.
Kramaric.
Yes, and Kramaric on the front.
Yeah, you have
this is something you would do, and you would see. It's all about knowing your opponent. Perisic is one person that could handle Carvajal. Handle Carvajal. You saw when Carvajal was playing against the German side in the Champions League. He wasn't coming up front that much. You saw when he played against Man City. When you have a threat on that side, you would not see Carvajal come up.
It suppresses all the flourishes that these opponent wingers could make when you have a threat in that flank. But when you have somebody that is not pacey, that they can outmatch, you see them become more adventurous. You see them
look at the likes of
take more chances.
we are all Premier League fans. Perhaps some of us support the La Liga. Now look at the players we've all criticized so far this season being on their best performance.
Sure.
Cucurella. Why does he play for Chelsea? Come on, I'm saying it. See, Chelsea fans will crucify me now, but
Sure,
Cucurella, come on now.
True.
Come on.
He played a good
Fabian
game.
Ruiz has not created. Fabian Ruiz has not created 80% of the chance he's born to create in PSG.
It doesn't really start with PSG.
Yeah,
That's the funny
it's
that's what I'm going to.
another player that's been quiet on that PSG. Now we thought maybe this guy was being overwhelmed by the move to Paris Saint-Germain. We thought that maybe he wasn't as good as he was touted earlier when he made that move. But we are seeing Fabian Ruiz in a new light. So you now wonder, is it that he's not getting the right service he demands? Is it that they are not playing in the right way to bring out his strengths, or that something is fundamentally wrong in that PSG side? But look at the creativeness, look at the ability to bury that goal, look at the finish and everything. This is a player that we didn't see in this light in the Ligue 1.
So one of the senior players for Spain, Morata, scored the first goal. He is one of the senior players now in the Spanish Spanish team. He got the first goal that got them going in that game. Ruiz scored the second goal, and Carvajal, all the experienced players turned up for Spain. You couldn't say the same thing with Croatia. You couldn't say Croatia to Croatia.
No, see, it's something you play with a player who is creative, but yet when the people around him are defensive minded, you understand, it becomes a problem. Now, you have a midfield of Luka Modric. This is a very good, fantastic, creative player. Kovacic is not creative.
No, he moves the ball.
He moves the ball to where? That's the question. He's always moving the ball half foot forward and 10 steps backward.
You need to consider who is on the receiving end. Is there a Doku that will receive the ball, that can do wonders on the ball? Is there somebody else, who he plays with in his club side, in the national side, that can get on the end of the ball and create chances? Mm-hmm. That's another thing you consider in this type of midfield.
I hate coaches when in the first game of the tournament you're experimenting with tactics. It becomes a problem.
You call that an experiment?
Yes, it is an experiment with tactics. Now you're playing Stanisic on the right wing. It's a problem for him. He plays as a center midfielder, center defender. You're playing Gvardiol as left back.
No, he played almost all the games. With Manchester City.
He played
at left back.
He played 60% of the games last season at left back.
Almost 90%.
No, 60. And Ake was coming in there. Ake was also playing in that position, and then he would drop into He would drop into the center half. Now look at him. Out of those games he played, what was his performance like? It was in those performances he sold the FA Cup. But he
scored a fantastic goal against Real Madrid in Champions League.
Sure,
it doesn't matter how you score goals.
For me, I just feel that the midfield, the team, the way it's set up today is not right. They need to go back and work on it because it's not working clearly against opponents like Spain. They need to have a more progressive setup for the match. And let's see if they move forward in a better light against another team.
They had more possession in this game, 54 to 46. They had more shots. I think because after the first half, Spain doesn't need to.
They came in the game.
Spain now had to close the game out.
They don't need to attack again.
Now, what I was saying about Maja, sorry to say this. This is a player that has played in the last 10 games for the Bundesliga side for Wolfsburg. He's only started 3. In the last 10 games, he's been coming off from the bench, playing 20 minutes football, and you're starting him for a national team that you expect a win.
It's options. That is option. They don't have options. They have to make use of what they have.
Now, let me correct you there. Now, if Perisic was on this side, you're sure that you have a 2 forward that could get you results. You understand? This is now where you talk about experience and the youth. Now, this guy is a youth player. He's not got all those experience yet, but you need those experience in the front line to help him out.
Okay.
Now, they don't have that. You understand? They don't have that. And now it becomes a problem for them. Now, after the second half, you see them trying to build up something. Now you're trying to build up something, you're not taking off the most intelligent player I'll call him the most intelligent player in the team, Luka Modric. Now, what are you creating when you take off
That's
Luka
the
Modric?
thing. No.
Now, okay, fine. Kovacic is not really that creative, but he knows how to hustle for the ball. You're taking off Kovacic as well, and you're trying to get a result against a Spanish side that has won you in the first half.
We are good. You are just saying that this is the coach's fault.
It's just come on.
For me,
it is fault for them to lose this game.
For me, I feel that he got it wrong with the formation, and then he also got it wrong with the substitutions that could have resolved the situation for the side. And he needs to learn from it, because they could go up against another opponent and this type of result could repeat itself. So to avoid this kind of things, rather than trying to experiment a new formation against a seasoned opponent like Spain, you go with what has worked, and then you bring the key players in key places that can turn a game around for you and create the chances that you need. Once they considered that first goal, with the fluidity that Spain was playing with, he should have been thinking pivot in his mind, because that's the next thing that is required to ensure that they do not concede more goals in this competition. But he just kept the team the way they were set up, and it didn't make for a good game, because at the end of the day, the game was settled at halftime, and every other thing after halftime was just medicine after death, if you ask me.
Let's talk about this particular player, this young Yamal. You know, we'll be talking about players to watch out. We talk about Germany's Musiala, the young boy.
Yes, that's for German.
For German, now you are seeing this boy perform. He got an assist in this game. What is this potential of this boy? Do you think that this boy and the Spanish team can win this tournament?
For me, if they are going to go far, they are going to rely on all hands on the team. But of course, you can't undervalue or underrate his performance in this match and for the national side. Let's put things in perspective. Look at his record at Barcelona. Look at, breaking into that side at such a tender age, holding down a starting spot on the side, and then coming into this competition on a starting side as well, delivering a key match performance for Spain. This shows you that this guy is a talent that is ready to break on. And if they cannot build with this guy set up the team to build with this guy, marshalling that attack, okay, we have Alvaro Morata in the side, we have other creative midfielders from behind, but you need to service this guy the ball more to ensure that you get the best of opportunities that are coming out from the match.
See, to be honest here, you have to have a defensive line that is good enough, not just as a defense or defenders. In your midfield, your defensive midfielder has to be good enough for your attack to flourish.
Mobility.
Now, if your defensive midfield is not functional, your front line cannot be mobile. They'll have to drop back and start to defend with you, which is always a problem for creative players. And I think Yamal in this hand has that freedom. Morata is a tapping. We know Morata is not really that. He's just there. He's just a fox in the box, camped there to tap in your shots. Now you have the other guy from the See, these are two players. In the
Williams was playing from the other.
We have the two players in the German side, Musiala and Florian Wirtz from last game. Now today's game, you saw another performance of young players who you should look out for the next 10 years. If injury or perhaps indiscipline doesn't take their career away from them, you have another two players you could look out for the next 10 years. Or perhaps in the Spanish side now, say we have three. Talking about Pedri in midfield as well.
Sure.
Now look at Yamal. Look at the way he takes on the ball. He dribbles. He knows when to drop the pass. He knows when to take on defenders. He knows how to beat defenders 1v1.
Another one is he sees the game unfold before it happens, so he knows how. That's
this is a player. This is a player that grew up from the La Masia. They learn these things. They've played with the likes of they saw the likes of they saw footage of maybe top players with the Ronaldinhos. The footage of Ronaldinhos in training is still in camp. The Lionel Messi's training footage are still there. You see these trained players come through the camp, and they are going, and you're like, this player played for Barca with so I need to beat this player's record.
Okay,
that should be the mentality. And with Nico Williams as well, though his brother decided,
he wasn't getting a call up, so he had to move to
a team that calls him. That's just it.
Okay, let me just ask you the final question. Do you think, let me start with you, John, do you think that Spain has what it takes to win this tournament?
For me,
let's not talk about the tournament yet. I know you want to start with John, but let's not talk about the tournament. Let's talk about this group.
Or do you think that they can win
this group now is still not certain, because if you look at the way Italy are going to play later today,
Italy and Albania, they are going to play later today.
What if Albania gets a result?
For me, in this group now, as it is, the main thing is if you can get a win out of Italy, they are home and dry
So
from this group.
they are
Yeah.
they are coming out from this group top.
Yeah, as long as they can get a win against Italy.
That's just the decision. If you can get a win against Italy, then you're good to go. That's 2 wins from 2 big countries.
Then you qualify
You qualify from the group, then you forget about Armenia.
Okay, guys, this is how we are going to end today's preview for this game. Spain winning 3 goals to 0 was a surprise for everybody. Nobody could believe that. We are thinking that probably Croatia will put on a fight, but the game was ended in the first half and it was a surprise for everybody. And this tournament has been fantastic. It has been a wonderful tournament since they started the game by 2 o'clock. We saw 4 goals there. We saw 3 goals there. We saw 6 goals yesterday. It's been raining goals in Euros. I hope it continues that way.